G'day peeps, Ben Futrell here from on3legs.com. In this video we're going to have a look at the different remote shutter releases that are available and the options. I'm going to show you 4 different ones that I use for my Nikon gear, and hopefully that'll help you decide which one you want to use. So when it comes to choosing your remote shutter release for your camera, it can be a little bit tricky. There's a lot of them out there. Just type it in on eBay and you probably get 3.5 billion results. And some are branded with your camera manufacturer's details on them or name, and that's what they recommend. But there's also a lot of third-party ones that work just as well, if not better. Now the first one I'm going to show you is this one here. This is the Nikon MC30. Now you'd think that this one would probably be the best, and you know it's good, it does its job. It's quite simple, has a button on the top here that you hit with your thumb. It's got a sliding lock on the side here for bulb shooting, so if you want to do a longer exposure, but that's it. It's a pretty basic remote. Now this is a brand new one that I've got as a spare. The challenge that I've had with the Nikon ones is that they break here when least expected. Of course, when you're using your camera and you want to do a long exposure, that's not when you want them to break. They're also, because they've got this little name on the side here called Nikon stamped on them, no different to if it was stamped with Canon or Fuji or whatever, they're going to charge you more for it. So you're going to pay more for the manufacturer's equipment, and it doesn't really work any better than the others. If I want a wired remote, the one that I found that I really like, I found it on eBay for about probably fifth of the cost of the Nikon one, is the JYC. Once again, it's a wired remote, has the 10-pin plug on the end of it that fits my Nikon. You can buy them with whatever plug on them that you need, but it does exactly the same thing, and believe it or not, I actually think it's the same if not better build quality, and it was a lot cheaper. Same thing, you can press the button down, slide that forward, it locks it in, flick it back, turns it off. It's an absolutely perfect solution for your longer shutter if you want your remote to be wired. Of course, there are times when having a wireless remote are handy, and to be honest with you, I absolutely love having a wireless remote, and so that's really how 95% of the time I've been shooting is to use a wireless shutter release cable. This one here is the Pixel 221. There is a review of it on my website. That was the one that I discovered at first, and I've come up against a couple of issues with it. The first one is that the back of the remote and the receiver, the covers for the battery fall off really easily. So I have lost the cover for the remote somewhere in the sea. I was shooting a seascape one morning, a wave came up, before I realised it sucked my cover into the ocean, gone forever. So I have to have tape over the back of it. Not the best solution, because if I need to change the batteries it's a little bit of a pain, but it still does the job. Now the good thing with the Pixel remote is it has functions on the remote itself. So this receiver here takes 2 AA batteries, sits in your hot shoe. There's a wire that then plugs into the 10-pin cable on my camera, but plugs into your camera, and then that's the receiver for the remote. On the remote itself, it has 4 functions. So you can do a single shot, multiple shots, a bulb setting, or a timer. And so that's really good to be able to do that from the remote. I find that to be quite handy, and the batteries in them do last quite long. The other gotcha that I had with this is that I was one day shooting a sunset and my camera was taking a whole bunch of pictures without me doing anything, and I wasn't sure why, and then I discovered there was another photographer nearby who had the exact same remote and he hadn't changed his frequency. So if you do buy one of these, inside the receiver and inside the transmitter there are these 4 little white switches. You can choose your own frequency. I suggest you change it straight away unless you want photos of things you didn't expect to have. So there's my tip when it comes to that, but a great remote otherwise. The one that I discovered about a month ago that I'm really happy with is this one here. It is the RFN4S, so the R for Romeo, F for Foxtrot, N for November, 4S. For Nikon only, it says on here. I don't know if you can get them for other cameras. It looks like the manufacturer is SMDV down the bottom of the box here. The reason I love this particular wireless shutter release is this is the receiver. How small is that? And the good thing about this receiver is it plugs into the 10-pin plug on the Nikon, and that powers the receiver. Except for recording this, because I'm using my Nikon to record this, I never take this off. I leave it on. That other Pixel remote I had to keep taking off because it's bulky and I didn't want it to break. So when it went in the bag, I took it off. This I just leave on all the time. Great for a single shot. You just hit the button. It's got this little cover that slides over that protects it. Same thing though, make sure you program it to a brand new frequency when you get it, because you will one day be shooting away and wonder why somebody else is having control over your camera. So there you go, there's my quick rundown on the different remotes available. If I had to pick two of them for you, it would be the JYC for a wide one, it would be the RFN 4S for the wireless one.